we celebrate the 43-year reign of the Speed Metal Kings, Metallica. With 9 Grammy Awards and 14 nominations, 38 concert tours worldwide, and 11 studio albums that span 4 decades, the Titans of Thrash remain the standard by which all other metal is measured. We begin with a 1984 classic from their second album, For Whom the Bell Tolls, followed by the 1992 tour anthem, Wherever I May Roam. And then, let's turn down the house and light up the stage with the Auburn University Marching Band and their show, Metallica.
What a finish for the Auburn Tigers versus Kentucky, keeping their NCAA tournament hopes alive. They are victorious, and yes, from a different location, different setup. Hopefully it's all right. We're going to talk about it. Post-game reaction time, the stats, the stories, all that's coming your way right now. War Eagle, everybody, welcome back to another edition of E2C Network Live, where we get together, we sit down, we discuss, we share in the Auburn experience, all about Auburn sports, Auburn culture, Auburn family stuff. An easier way to say it, though, is if it's orange and blue, it is what we do. So thank you so much for joining us in what we're going to be doing this evening on your live reaction show. Time to react to it. Auburn men's basketball versus Kentucky in Neville Arena. A lot on the line for both teams, probably more so for Auburn. That's all we got to say. Wow, they finally got over the hump in one of these close ones against very good teams. Oh, man, still trying to assess it. Anyway, let's get into it this evening. You all are here watching live, those of you that are, and those of you that are catching the replay as well. We appreciate that too. So thank you so much, however you got here, whenever you got here. To do this post-game reaction show with us. Let me cover a couple of housekeeping things. Yes, I am in a different location. Yes, the sound is going to be a little bit off. The connection is going to be a little bit off, but I hope you guys will bear with it this evening, just for the sake of enjoying and talking about this win, which has been a long time coming. And I think the fan base really needed it this evening. So we will go through individual stats. We'll go through team stats. We'll go through storylines, and we'll go through commentary from you all, which I see a common theme coming through a lot of it tonight. We'd love for you to start off the show this way, though, by making sure that you smash the like button. Please do so. We'd also love for you to let us know who's your player of the game, any shout outs that you'd like to have to certain players tonight. That's a big thing. So drop those in if you'd like. We'd love to hang out with you some more and hear what you guys are talking about that. But first, let's get into the stats and the stories this evening. Your big story, as we talked about, Auburn needed this one. 5-game losing streak. I think the stat they shared on the broadcast was the worst losing streak since the 2016 season, early in the Bruce Pearl era. And obviously that could have gotten much worse. And I mean much worse tonight, but it didn't. The Auburn Tigers are victorious and able to not only end the losing streak, but give themselves another notch in their belt for their tournament resume on this game for our purposes in the 75-74 win. Also, another cool storyline, we'll get to him a little bit more in his stats, but 1,000 career points for Kevin Overton, and I think he earned it this evening as well. Career games for certain players. I mean, the storylines abound, man. This is what college basketball is made for, and I hope that you all are enjoying it, even when it's a little bit frustrating at times, not going the way you necessarily wanted it to go. With that being said, let's jump into it. The stats and the stories. We'll start with the individual stats, and we'll go from the leading scorer all the way down. Shout out to Otega Owe for what he did this evening. He is a beast, as Kentucky always seems to find those guys and have them on their roster, and he was very much that tonight. Got very close to getting him out of the game, and I think that would have been the difference had Auburn been able to get him out of the game a little bit earlier. Now, obviously, people have already posted in the chat, player of the game is probably going to be the leading scorer, and that leading scorer tonight is not Keyshawn Hall, is not Tahad Pettiford. It is one Keyshawn Murphy. With a career game for him, career highs in scoring. He does get a double-double. His complete stat line is as such, and it is impressive, not just because of the scoring. 25 points, 9 for 14 from the field, 1 of 1 from three-point land, and that is a huge one, which I'm sure Coach was screaming, no, 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 yes, yes, yes. 6 of 6 from the free throw line as the big man of the team, the leading big man of the team. 10 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 personal fouls, only 1 turnover in 24 minutes of play tonight. He did all this, and he's not even in the 30s in playing time tonight. Outstanding performance from Keyshawn Hall. I think it goes, you could say the points, but the fact that he's doing all these little things amongst being the leading scorer tonight, what a game for Keyshawn Murphy. And he's got to feel a lot better after a just, a normal performance against Mississippi State. And he really wanted that one. They obviously gave him a lot of crap last week for returning back. But my goodness, Keyshawn Murphy was just about as good as Otega Owe tonight, and he deserves your praise more than I hate to say this, but sometimes we focus on the negative side of things a little bit too much. We don't give these players enough praise, in our commentary, and so we need to do that. So Keyshawn Murphy tonight, outstanding performance from him, led the Tigers all the way up and down. I always love to have a conversation if there is a player of the game potentially that needs a little bit more, or two other people that maybe need a little bit more recognition. I think tonight, by far and away, it's Keyshawn Murphy. Now, great moments for other players tonight, and I think they're across the board. But wow, Keyshawn Murphy, well done, sir. So after that point, you have 2 other players that are tied at 25 points, down at 10 points. 2 players tied at 10 points. We'll start with Kevin Overton, Mr. 1,000 career points. Shout out to him. Absolutely outstanding from him tonight as well. And some key moments there, given his body and drawing a foul that, listen, at the end of the game, you can whine about it all you want if you're Kentucky, that it was I won't say a cheap foul, but one that's creative in nature, but that's how you win the games and how you get back from behind. Every coach schemes those things up. So if you're whining about that as a Kentucky fan, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it tonight, because certainly there's some other angles that Auburn could do some whining as well, but we're trying not to focus on that as much on these streams. And certainly that gripe is there this evening. We understand that. But Kevin Overton tonight hits his career 1,000 point. He's got 10 points, 3 for 6 from the field, 1 for 3 from the three-point arc. All his free throws, 3 of 3, 1 rebound, 1 personal foul, no turnovers in 31 minutes of play. Kevin Overton has had a lot more points in these games at times, but this evening, he just kind of took care of business in a lot of different areas and is a big reason why the Auburn Tigers win. I did miss someone who scored 11 points, and I'll come back to him in a little bit. Keyshawn Hall tonight, obviously not the game that we're accustomed to him having, but once again, this is a guy that is not just known for his scoring, but what he can do defensively, what he can do other areas of the game. Here is his stat line: 10 points, tied with Overton, 3 of 15 from the field, 1 of 6 from the three-point arc. Really low for him. He is, where's his free throws? 3 of 3. So that's a big thing that was missing from tonight, is him getting to the free throw line. 9 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 personal fouls, 3 turnovers, and 37 minutes of play. I think people are going to harp on some of his moments where he committed some turnovers and maybe did some things that people don't particularly like, that they equate to showboating and things like that. And that might be a little bit of a case, but you also need to recognize where he does some things that are just exponentially important in this game. He's your leading assist getter tonight. He almost get double digits in rebounds. He was flirting, as the announcer said, with a triple double tonight, getting into double digit points just barely. So Keyshawn Hall tonight, not what we're accustomed to him normally doing, but still very, very, very good from him in some other areas that need to be valued. Who I missed and who I shouldn't have missed at the very start of this is the guy that we're even talking about this, and that is Mr. Elijah Freeman, with a humongous putback, with just franticness happening as seconds are whittling away from Auburn's hopes and dreams, it seemed there. The big putback, Elijah Freeman with 11 points. And we've been talking about this, that he may be that missing piece that we need a little bit more offense from at time. And boy, the one that gets him into double digits tonight is the big one. 11 points, 5 for 12 from the field, 1 for 4 from the three-point arc. He also has 3 rebounds in 27 minutes of play. Solid from him tonight, especially clutch as a young player. Getting in there for the Tigers and making that shot at the end. So that's your double digit guys: a 25er, 111 points, 2 tied for 10 points. Man. So the rest of your scoring tonight, Todd Pettiford with 9 nearly gets into double digits, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, makes all his free throws. He was very good defensively at times tonight. So again, very similar to Keyshawn Hall in storylines tonight. Last couple of games, we've gotten used to him or Hall or both doing the offensive scoring, and that wasn't the case tonight. And I've said this a lot. You are defined not by what you do with your best player, but what you do without them, in my opinion. And we had that conversation a lot last year when Janai Broome was out for a few games because of his injury. And we saw the team, be different and maybe not in some ways be as good, but in the overall picture, we're just as competitive and just as good. You could make the case here that Auburn does take a step back when Tahad or Keyshawn Hall aren't doing as well offensively. But tonight, with both those guys just doing some simple numbers that we're not accustomed to them doing as of late, they pick it up. And Auburn figures out a way to win with others, especially Keyshawn Murphy leading the way tonight. So there's Tahad Pettiford. Sebastian Williams-Adams, I think, certainly probably had some better games for him, either scoring wise, offensively, decision making, putting away at the 3-point arc there very late. Free throws were a little bit of a struggle for him tonight. Sebastian Williams-Adams is a great talent. He's so versatile as a big man. He's young. He's going to have games like this, but 5 points for him. Also tied at 5 points, Filip Jovic, who gets a few more minutes as we've been hoping to see him. 5 points, 1 rebound, 1 personal foul, 1 turnover in 16 minutes of play. And then Blake Musalik gets in there for a little bit to give a little bit of time away from the guards and get his minutes in there defensively. So that's the individual stats. We're not done yet, but certainly I will want to hear from you all if you thought that there was a shout out for a player that needed to happen. Here's one for Tahad Pettiford. Defense was much improved tonight. I still hate that Pettiford runs down the court and then can't pass it to anyone because he's under the basket and surrounded. At times we get a little bit ahead of ourselves. I think we could all understand how that happens sometimes. And I think you look at it, everybody's game tonight is going to have moments where they're like, maybe besides Keyshawn Murphy, because it was outstanding all the way from him, where they could have done just a little bit better. But I think this was a full team win tonight where everybody contributed in ways that they needed to and had to, and maybe even a little bit unconventional, a la Murphy with a career game and scoring points. And then Elijah Freeman being the guy that puts back the bucket there to send the Auburn Tigers into victory lane. So that is your individual stats. If we have forgotten someone, please do drop that in there. We gave our kudos to Otega Owe with what he was able to do. And, you got to give credit where credit is due. Kentucky is always going to be a formidable program, always going to attract talent, and they're always going to be an impressive win. It seems like there's very few times in their history that I know of that they are not at least considered respectable. And I think that's still the case here for them. So tough battle, tough fight there. And that's the individual stats. Now, team stats. This is where we get into the nitty gritty, and we're going to put this thing, the pieces together, figure it out. We're going to start with the big three as we always do. Auburn's free throws, turnovers, and rebounds. Again, as a reminder, if you win the battle here, 2 out of the 3, all 3, you usually set yourself up in a way, sort of, sometimes. I know I'm just like degrading the big 3. You usually put yourself in a position to win the game. Let's see if that reflects, because that's where we're going to start with team stats. Free throws tonight, 14 of 17 for Kentucky, which makes them 82%. Auburn, 20 of 24, 83%. They win it by a fraction, not a fraction, 1% of a margin there, but both above 80% tonight. A free throw shooting clinic from all of them. Absolutely outstanding by all accounts, but more so Auburn. They win that category. Not a big differential, but it's still impressive. Turnovers tonight, especially in the second half, were a little bit to be desired by both teams, especially Auburn in the second half. In fact, that's nearly what cost them the game, but they do win the category 14-11. You don't want to do that anywhere, home or away, but obviously if you do that at home, it tends to not hurt you as bad as it does the away team. They do win that category. And rebounds, Kentucky was pulling away in rebounds. They do win the category 38-33, but not that big of a differential there. So Auburn wins 2 out of the 3. Not a lot of spread amongst the two teams there. You can understand why I emphasize these stats right here. They usually are pretty indicative of the game. Very close game, very close differentials. Auburn does win 2 out of the 3. More often than not, these are the things that tell you who won. But it may not be the big stat that tells the story of the game. Certainly, there could be a few more things there. So let's jump into the rest of the team stats. Field goal shooting percentage, 42 for Kentucky, 40 for Auburn. Pretty close there. Kentucky wins. They end up tied 3-point percentage wise. Kentucky was not doing well from the 3-point percentage early and most of the game, I would say. But of course, as luck would have it at the end of the game, they got a lot of them. Brought it back up. Auburn hits a few too. 26% for both of them. Not a great 3-point shooting night. So that's a push situation there. Points off of turnovers. Auburn wins that by 7. We've already talked about the rebounds. Kentucky won that overall and won each of the categories, but defensive rebounds were just a differential of 1. Second chance points. Kentucky. That's a reason that they kept this thing so close and neither win, 15-10. Bench points, more effective for Auburn by double, 8-16. Points in the paint. Auburn gets back into form here, 36-40. They win that one. And defensively, Auburn did show up tonight in the stats. So WT, who brought that up a little bit earlier, that he felt that they played better defensively tonight. That kind of reflects right here with that. So your steals, 7-9. Auburn wins that category. Blocks, 3-5. Auburn wins that one. And then assists, pretty comparable, but Kentucky does win that. Game with a lot of lead changes, things like that. Man, what a wild run it was. What an absolutely wild run it was. And I think the fan base needed this one this evening because it's been a rough go of it in a lot of ways for a few of you out there that maybe it's time to do priority checks and how things affect you. But I love you in spite of that. But regardless, here is a quick summary of everything. Auburn does win 75-74 in Neville Arena over the Kentucky Wildcats. Always a big win, especially in the context of this season and what they're needing to do to continue into the postseason. And then your big stat of the game. You know, honestly, you could take your pick tonight. I'll probably go. There's not a lot to look at that's that big of a differential. I'll go second chance points, 15-10. Kentucky getting those on the road is big, so I'll say that's the stat of the game. And then your player of the game from Auburn, Otega for them, but for Auburn, Keyshawn Murphy with 25 points and a double-double. Outstanding from him tonight. We're not done here. We want to hear some more from you, so drop those in the chat and we can talk a little bit about them in a little bit more detail and start diving into some more things that you want here. I've got a couple of y'all's comments saved, so bring them back up to the forefront if you'd like, that's a little bit more helpful, some things that you want me to address, whether it's individual stuff, play things. We can do a little bit of future talk about this, but our focus is about this game and what just happened in this game. Certainly there can be a little bit of that as well. Just a couple of quick reminders for you for content for the week. We don't have all the cue cards ready for you tonight, but the main thing we do want to make you aware of is your next scheduled live stream is the Auburn Experience, episode 163, which will be tomorrow night at 9 Eastern, 8 Central. We hope you'll join us. Watch the sausage be made live. Austin and I will talk about it. Looks like we're going to do a baseball week and basketball week update because both are, for the most part, pretty dang good. When I say baseball week update, it's baseball and softball week update. And we'll catch you up on the latest Auburn news as well, sports, culture, and family. We'll have post-game shows this week, Auburn Family Night on Wednesday. And, of course, we'll be back on Saturday, too, with another post-game other than the midweek game one there. So lots to look forward to this week on E2C Network. All right, let's address this point because I think it's brought up here right at the start. I'll come back to a few of the other ones. A lot of you want to talk about the refs tonight, and I understand that. And Fielder's Choice says, seeing ref comments on both sides. This was the same group that did the A&M game. That crew is horrible. I don't like to really focus on the refs that much, but it is, I think, important when there is some egregiousness happening to at least address it. And so I will certainly do that. I think if you look at a couple of phantom calls on Auburn's part, those are the biggest things there. I'm sure Kentucky feels that last call that gave Auburn the turnover to get the last shot in is pretty bogus as well. And I would probably feel the same way if I was in their shoes. But it's basketball, and that's something that's drawn up. So you can hate it, not like it, but it's basketball. So there's probably complaints to go around on both sides. And with a close game like this, you hate to think that the outcome was affected by it. I don't really feel that way tonight. Of course, I'm sitting as a content creator on the side of victory with the people that I cover. So there's that. If you want to talk about it, and let me address this. This is WT says, if anything, I felt the refs favored Auburn tonight. A lot of calls that could have been against Auburn went as jump balls, and that could be a thing. Let's look at stats to see if we can counteract that in any way. Personal fouls for Auburn tonight, total of 14. Personal fouls for Kentucky tonight, 19. So there could be, at least numbers wise, a legitimate gripe there. But that it's worthy of bringing up tonight. But I don't want the focus necessarily to be there ever, because I'd hate to think that that's affected the outcome of the game. All right, Wayne on Facebook said, "Can we keep playing the defense? Can we keep playing with this? I guess defensive intensity." Certainly was good at times tonight, wasn't it? The effort tonight was the shot in the arm they needed to finish the season out strong. I think those are great comments, Wayne. One of the bigger struggles, at least from the fans' perspective, has been defense, and the coach obviously has addressed that at times tonight. I think obviously there was a sense of urgency on this team tonight. You could see that. Certainly you could see it in Murph's play, offensively and defensively. Tahad, I think, is once again not getting valued for what he does when he's playing at his best defensively. And yeah, I mean, there's certainly it felt like a little bit different tonight, didn't it? Didn't it? So that's a great call out, Wayne. Rest of the comments that I think I'd saved, and let's see here. This one looked like Kentucky's plan was to go after Hall, which opened things up for Murphy and Overton. I mean, frankly, that's one way that's been pretty surefire to at least stymie Auburn for a little bit in the game, and maybe long enough to keep someone else from going off. Not tonight. Keyshawn Hall tonight has a pretty mild game. He almost has a triple, not almost. He gets flirting was the word with a triple double tonight. He gets double digit points. But the biggest thing for me with his game is the lack of attempts at free throws tonight. So they really, really found ways to keep that in check. And that's a big part of his game. And the bigger takeaway from that is how the rest of the team stepped up in the lack of areas that, so like we just discussed, whether that's an individual or as a team. So big shout out for a team win there as well. WT says the defense needs to continue to improve. They look better, but more intensity definitely could be in order. Another comment about a foul. Was that really a foul against Chandler at the end, or did Overton sell the push? I wasn't paying too close attention. Yeah. It's one of those basketball plays that you're going to see it based on your colors, right? You're going to see it based off of what you think is supposed to be the right call. It's schemed up that way. You're told to sell it a little bit, but I mean, there was contact. So you can't say that it was the most egregious call that's ever happened. Let's be honest. There were 2 phantom calls on Auburn where the guys never touched them. And Ortega, there is a certain element to this thing where the player's so good that it seems at times refs are just ready to call a foul on them because they're just that good. And if they don't get a clear lane, it feels like they're fouling them. But no disrespect to Ortega Away, is absolutely outstanding tonight. Yeah, a lot of people celebrating a lot of the good things happening all weekend. Obviously, we're really excited about this win this evening. A lot of shout outs to Ortega Away. Somebody from OU misses him. Lots of commentary from the that situation there. I tried to word the ref comment as good as I could. The crew is just bad regardless of the team. Yeah, and I think Auburn and Kentucky fans, of the few things we'll agree is that there was a lot to be desired by both of those teams tonight. And unfortunately, I think Kentucky's going to feel the sting a little bit more than that than Auburn will tonight, being the loser. But Auburn certainly can put themselves in their shoes a little bit there. All right, some good comments there. Any last minute things that we need to address about this team, this game going forward a little bit? All those things certainly can take a last few comments here. Don't miss out on opportunity. This is one of those few times where everybody's in a little bit better mood. So things are a little bit more pleasant and fun to discuss here post game, whether it's a call out, shout out for a player, a moment that you love, things like that. We want to hear from you. This evening. Once again, let me address I am in a different location. I'm having to do things a little bit different because of some family travels this week. Everything's fine. Everything's good. We're just doing some typical family stuff, and I had to squeeze a way to do this. Headsets a little. I had to go back to an old headset and things like that. We're making it work this evening. Where's the new hat, Kyle? That hat I've worn before. It's my usual good. This is the hat you'll see me wearing if I'm out and about Auburn. But I got it from J&M. Okay. Anything else from you guys? Yeah, we talked about this a little bit earlier. Sway made a really bad freshman mistake, fouling on the off balance three. I think that's another case where Ortega sold that a little bit, but you can't give them the opportunity to sell it. Just like was counteract with Kevin Overton. You can't give Kevin Overton the opportunity to sell that with a push off. What the announcer was talking about so much. Okay, we're back. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Goodness gracious. Yeah, the new hat you showed on Discord, I am still waiting to be. Oh, that's funny. You're it, so you can go order it. Anyway, sorry about that connection there at the end. I'm honestly shocked it wasn't as bad as that the rest of the time. So we kind of haven't done it from this location in a while, so wasn't sure of the internet connection with all that going on. Frozen lobster on us, yeah, man. There's nothing more frustrating as the content creator. I'm sure it's frustrating with you guys, but watching your screen just go blank and that your controls won't work because the internet just crapped out on you. So you live and you learn. I won't have to broadcast from this location very many times over the next several years. So it is what it is this evening. Okay. In summary, final statements again. Auburn wins 75-74. Humongous win for Auburn. Keeps their tournament hopes pretty solidly on the right path. Certainly you can't sleep the rest of the way. You got to make sure you take care of business. And we'll kind of wait and see what happens the rest of the season, what happens the rest of college basketball, because certainly that can inform that a little bit. But for now, folks, celebrate it. The losing streak is over. Auburn gets over the hump in these quad one, very tight games, especially at home. Big win, big home win. You got to love it. 75-74. Auburn wins. Elijah Freeman puts it back with seconds left. Career game from Keyshawn Murphy. So many points that games that or stats that you could have picked tonight for the stat of the game. Absolutely. Fielder's choice that had to